think we're on. Yep, we're on.
We are on. Let's go.
Bear me 2 seconds. Wait for a couple more people to join. Get started in about 20 seconds.
Yeah, nice one. Oh, we've got a viewer.
One viewer. Right, we'll get started 'cause I think it is slightly behind, isn't it? So
let's crack on.
Right. Go on, introduce
Oh,
it.
yeah, okay.
That's the honours.
Right, so welcome to this week's Nothing But Football live stream at the slightly earlier hour of 5 p.m. on a Thursday due to unforeseen circumstances. We've had to do the show today.
And then we will be back next Friday, and I will put it back on Twitter and everything. We are on next Friday again at 5. It's just for 1 week. So
And I think, if I'm right in saying, we are actually very close to getting back into the studios.
I think we say this every week. Yeah, I've got a meeting about it this week. So hopefully we can sort something out. But for the meantime, it is again on Facebook and YouTube next Friday. So, well, should we just get straight into it? I mean, you know, everyone. Well,
I think they know the
it's
structure
the same
by
people.
now.
They should know the structure by now if they're listening.
So let's start with Leicester versus Arsenal from last week, and well, I actually predicted an Arsenal win in this game, and unsurprisingly, you didn't, and well, I was right to do so.
Yeah, well, second week in a row actually where I haven't backed an Arsenal win, and no, I didn't see it coming, and I think the start, I thought it was going to be a long game. I think it was really bad defending. For the goal, for Tielemans' goal, I thought Pablo Mari was really poor for it, but then straight away after that, bounced back, and I mean, a brilliant game, and Willian probably getting a bit of his worth back with that performance. Not the whole, however many thousands of pounds he's on a week, but right direction. I mean, I've heard he has these performances every so often. Maybe he cashed it in for the season, but it's nice to get a win away against probably, well, a top 6 side and probably one of the biggest sides in the country now.
Leicester on a bit of a wobble though, really, aren't they?
Yeah, it was a draw last night, wasn't it? And they were 1-0 down, weren't they? Yeah, I mean, I think we predicted it a few weeks ago, whether they can keep it up. You weren't so sure, maybe a little bit of bias coming in there, but it's showing that there probably was a bit of fact behind it, you know. I mean, last season they absolutely bottled the top 4. Whether it's going to happen again, I'm not sure. Injury problems galore for them though, isn't it?
James Justin, James Maddison. I don't know whether Maddison. Yeah, Johnny Evans.
I know Pereira was out before, and he's only just come back.
So yeah, I think, you know, Leicester, they are 6 points ahead of Chelsea, with Chelsea having a game in hand, and if I'm right in saying, Leicester has still got to go to Stamford Bridge as well. So they're not shoo-ins for the top 4 just yet. We're not going to go through all of last week's games because I think that'd be a bit long-winded.
Yeah, 100%.
We don't want to keep you.
I mean, can we just say first off, we have got Nige is here as always.
All right, Nige.
So, and Jack has said thoughts on Robert Snodgrass.
That's a personal joke between me and Jack, and I'm not going to repeat it live on the air. But
I'll tell you what, I've just realised, bear with me 2 seconds, because the sun has come out in Middlesbrough, which doesn't happen very often, and it looks like it's blinding us.
Yeah.
But now let's carry on.
So a game that we thought weren't going to be very good last week, Tottenham versus Burnley. Well, I keep seeing, you know, Spurs are back on track, Bale is back. But I don't want to say it's only Burnley because teams have slipped up to Burnley this season.
We have.
But
So
it's only Burnley.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it was a good performance from him, and like I say, Bale, is he back? He's back in team of the week, that's for sure. Looks like he's got a decent card on FIFA, but now it's probably the performance that they've been expecting. You know, he probably hasn't made the impact that Spurs will have wanted and what he'll have wanted so far this season. So it's nice to see him. Well, as a football fan, nice to see him getting back in to his best.
A little bit more than turning up.
Well, 100%. Like we said though, complete contrast to the game that we predicted. So
Yeah.
fair play to Spurs, you know.
Not something you say often.
No, but a good overall performance from them, I have to say.
How bad was that Chelsea Man United game as well?
Do you know what? I mean, that's 180 minutes I watched of this season and no goals. So, and I mean, we got to say it. Bruno Fernandes, another big game, another poor performance. So
I'm sure if you Man United
won't say anything.
I'm sure if
more
Rory's watching, he'll be absolutely livid at that.
He is watching, and I know Nigel's a United fan, but we'll just leave it there. We won't say anything more on that.
Big game tonight, Liverpool versus Chelsea. How do you see that one going?
Yeah, it's another one. I can't predict it, but the one thing I will say, if it's anything like the big games have been going this season, I'm not expecting goals. We know what happens when I say that.
You know what? Last
There
season
is goals.
5-3 was it?
Yeah. What was it?
It was Liverpool's,
2-0. I think Liverpool won at Stamford Bridge.
Chelsea.
Jorginho missed the penalty. Yeah.
Dear me, sorry.
But no, I think it's a must-win for both sides, really, isn't it? I mean, we say this all the time, but
I think if you're a Leicester fan tonight, you'll probably pray.
I think that probably puts a lot of pressure on. Well, it does put a lot of pressure on Liverpool. But if Liverpool win, then it might be like the turning point for them. It's the torrid run that they've been on this year. But if I was to pick a team to win, I'd probably go Chelsea. You know.
Really?
Well, given their form,
do you know what?
I'll
I'll go Liverpool. I think they need a statement win.
Yeah.
I think they need to turn up, and I think they will. I think Liverpool are going to win tonight. Could be wrong, obviously, but.
I mean, if I'm being honest, I do think it's going to be a draw. But if I had to pick someone, I would say Chelsea personally.
Okay, so let's dive into. Have we got any questions?
Will Soccer Saturday boost land this weekend? We're going
to come on to the Championship in a bit, so we'll answer that question in due course. But let's just go through this week's Premier League fixtures in order of when they're being played, as always. So first of all, it's. I'm actually. Are you going to make your return to predicting an Arsenal win this week? Burnley away?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I can't remember what I predicted for the home game, but I know I got it completely wrong. I think I predicted us to batter them. But no, I've especially after watching them on Sunday, wasn't it, against Spurs? They were awful, and I just think the way that we've been playing, especially off the back of that game against Leicester, you know. They played midweek last night, wasn't it, against Leicester. We haven't got a midweek game. We've got the fresh legs. I'm hoping that we can put a strong side out and a strongish side. Obviously, we've got to look forward to the Europa League clash next week. But no, I personally, I'm going to go 3-1. I think we are going to get back in amongst the goals and another 3-1 away win. Will
Ansu keep up his fine form?
Do you know what? I'm going to say no. I think it's going to be one of them ones. He'll get subbed in like the hour mark, and we'll be back to seeing the William we know.
And love.
And well, not love.
What was your score prediction for that? Sorry, I didn't.
3-1. I will do.
I think it's hard to disagree with you there. I'm not going to give Burnley a goal though. I'm going to go 3-0.
3-0. Yeah, not a bad shout.
So, a big win last night for the team we're going to talk about next, against a team who, quite frankly, since beating Liverpool right at the start of this year, have been, quite frankly, on, the worst form in the league, maybe.
Well, I put them up there with
Newcastle.
I don't think Newcastle have been in better form.
Even Newcastle have got a few. Yeah. Sheffield United, Southampton. A glimmer of hope for Sheffield United after last night.
Yeah, and especially going down to 10 men on around the hour mark. Brilliant defending half an hour with 10 men. And I seen Chris Wilder said that it wasn't over yet, but he's going to start preparing for life in the Championship and hoping he can go on a good run at the end of the season to pick them up for it. But you know what? I think some of the teams that they've got to play, I think they've still got Burnley, Brighton, obviously Southampton. There's some winnable games in there. And even if, you know, they do get relegated, which let's be honest, they've got Chelsea to look forward to in the quarter-final FA Cup. It still could be a successful season for them, really, even if they get relegated.
If they win and win the FA Cup.
Well, exactly, yeah.
But Southampton, what's gone wrong? Do you think they've just been found out?
I don't know. They obviously had the game against us in the FA Cup where, you know, they probably edged it. But I think the 9-0 sort of, it's probably brought back memories of last season. I don't think Hasenhüttl's a bad manager, but I think the worst thing that they ever did this season was that tweet when they were top of the league, stop the count, because it's gone downhill from there, really. I think the win at Anfield was probably a bit of a, if you look back at the results, a bit of a, well, it was a shock anyway, but you know, an even bigger shock considering the form, and I don't know what's happening with them. And do you know what? I'm going to go for...
They didn't win at Anfield, they won at St Mary's.
Well, you know, we get some wrong. I'm not an expert. But no, I do think that if Brighton won at Anfield, I'm going to go for a Sheffield United win. And I'm going to go for a 2-1 win.
Just a quick point about Southampton. I'm looking at their fixtures now. They've still got to play Manchester City away, Tottenham away, Liverpool away, West Ham away, which you know isn't an easy game.
No.
And they've also got, you know, teams around them like Brighton, Burnley. Are they in a relegation battle?
No, I personally don't think so. I think when you look at the teams around
7
them,
points clear.
Yeah, I think they've got enough personally.
So you don't see any chance of Southampton being dragged into this little?
I don't personally not. I think you look at. I think that the five that have got to be worried is Brighton, Newcastle. I mean, I don't even think Sheffield United have to be worried. I don't think they've got. I wouldn't say they've got fear of being relegated, because let's be honest, they probably think they're going to get relegated, so they can go out and play. So I think Fulham will be the most. Fulham and Newcastle and Brighton, them three I think will be the most worried, because I think West Brom and Sheffield United have almost got a bit of freedom. You know, I think they probably think they've been relegated, so they can just go out there and play their stuff. And to be honest, the players now will probably be playing for a move back to the Premier League. Let's be honest.
So I think Sheffield United are going to win this game. I'm going to go 1-0 Sheffield United, the same as last night. Next game we're going to talk about Midlands and Wanderers. I thought Villa had proved the point against Leeds, beating them without Jack Grealish.
Yeah.
But they go and put in a performance like they did last night, and I feel like I have to revise that statement.
I think
it's a weird one, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think the thing is, I think it probably shows obviously how important. I mean, if people didn't realise already how important Grealish is to the team, and you know that, I mean, there was a front three last night: Watkins, El Ghazi, and Traore. You know, I mean, personally, that front three on paper, without Grealish in there, it ain't got the magic, has it? Really, I think, and like I say, shown last night. And the thing is, Villa are still in a good point for the season, but I don't think they've really got much to play for.
No.
I mean, they're not going to get European football realistically, are they? They're not going to get relegated. But it's probably a big, obviously, like you say, West Midlands derby. I'm no good at predicting them. Like I say, after the Wolves West Brom game, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 2-0 Villa. I do think that they'll top Wolves, because, like I say, watching Wolves is awful at points this season.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Well, in fact, we'll just pick up on Wolves.
We haven't actually mentioned them.
How not to defend, even if it is against Manchester City.
Yeah, and I mean, I know you shouldn't talk about stats too much, but how they got the equaliser, I'll never know. And like I say, absolutely crumbled in the last 10 minutes. and probably not as much for. I mean, like I say, it is Man City at the end of the day. How good they've been, but probably not a good setup for the game against Villa, really, is it?
No. I'm gonna go a drab 0-0 draw for this one.
To be honest, it's not a bad shout, that.
Next up, we've got Brighton of Albion versus Leicester. Do you know? Honestly, every time I think, oh my God, Brighton just can't cease to amaze me this season. They go and outdo themselves. The West Brom game last week. Oh, yeah. 2 penalties missed. The whole Lee, it was Lee Mason, wasn't it?
Oh, the free kick.
That's a bit of a farce. But I actually can't. We say this every week. We must do. I'd love to watch them back and see how many times. I can't believe Brighton lost.
No, and the thing is, it's just time after time after time. Again,
I feel like a broken record.
Yeah, they just don't have someone who can score the goals and a penalty taker. But by the looks of it, I mean,
Pascal Gross and Danny Welbeck.
You can't. Yeah, and you.
I'm just gonna use it.
When you're in the position that Brighton are in, I mean, you can't be chucking away a golden opportunity, such a penalty like that once, never mind twice in a game. And the whole Lee Mason thing, the free kick, I mean, let's be honest, it should have probably stood.
Yeah.
The whole... He's made a tit of himself, and he's made a tit of referees in the Premier League, and I mean, they do it week in, week out, there's always one, but I've never seen anything like that, and I don't think we'll ever see anything like that again. But I do think they've got a good chance against Leicester. I mean, watching Leicester the other day, the injury problems they've got, I think it is a winnable game for Brighton.
Yeah.
And you think that the injuries they've got at the back, that Leicester have got at the back, then I think it is a perfect opportunity for Brighton to, because if they do beat Leicester, I mean, I said this when they beat Liverpool, it'd be a confidence booster, but do you know what? I can't pick. I want to go 1-1 for this game. I can't pick a winner.
Yeah, I think, like you say, I think you've got that spot on really. It's just, I think, we keep saying the same thing about Brighton, and I don't need to touch upon Leicester because we've spoke about them enough here. But yeah, the thing is, I think with Brighton, if you're not getting the rub of the green the way they're getting it, you're going to go down.
Yeah, 100%.
And no one's too good to get relegated.
No, well, the only positive, I think, for Brighton, positive for Graham Potter, not Brighton, I think he'd get snapped up.
Yeah.
And do you know what? I think Newcastle, personally, I think if they stay up, might be a wise appointment.
But in this game, I'm going to go... Do you know what? I don't usually like going the same as you, but I'm going to go 1-1 as well.
Yeah, well, I think it's probably a favourable scoreline.
Next is in terms of being down the bottom of the table, quite frankly, an absolutely huge game. West Brom versus Newcastle United at Sunday, 12 o'clock. Do you know what? If West Brom win this, they're in with a real chance, which is something I didn't think I'd say.
Well, and do you know what? I think it is a winnable game for him. I can't say it's going to be an exciting game.
Do you know what? We say this quite a lot, to be fair. We said West Brom Brighton wasn't going to be the best game. And
do you know what, though? I am going to watch it because it's Maitland-Niles versus Willock. So there is a bit in there for me to watch. And I don't know, I think that it is, like you say, West Brom could give themselves a lifeline.
Well, they'll close the gap to 4 points.
I do think
this game.
If Newcastle win, I mean, we'll be real here. Liverpool versus Fulham. I know we just touched on it. Obviously, Fulham have got to go to Anfield. I know, but Newcastle have the favourable fixture. If they win and Fulham lose, it gives Newcastle a lot of breathing space.
Then you could say if Fulham go and beat Tottenham tonight, that puts Newcastle in the bottom 3.
Yeah. It's all ifs, muts, and
we're presuming the favourites are going to win, which this season is definitely something we shouldn't really be doing.
Well, no, and that's the thing. You can't talk until.
Do you see Newcastle winning without St Maximin, Almiron, and Wilson? Because I don't. I don't see where anything's going to come from. They might keep a clean sheet, but I don't think they're going to win.
No, and I think that's the thing for a minute. I mean, it's sad because the money they spent on Joe Linton, and I mean, watching him, he had that game against Crystal Palace where he had a 5-minute spell where he looked all right. But I mean, £40 million, you want to be looking all right every game. But no, I think I'm going to let you decide first.
Do you know what, I'm going to go as far as saying if Newcastle lose this game, they will get relegated. I think it's that important for them. I don't think they daren't lose. I don't think they can afford to. And I'm going to go 1-1.
Do you know what? That's what I was going to say. But I'm not going to stick the same scoreline as you. And I want to say 2-1 to Newcastle. I'm going to back them and say that they're going to get a result.
I don't think the draw's any good for either of them, though.
No, 100%. I think
West Brom, like I say, if West Brom win, they close the gap to 4 points. They're all of a sudden back into it. If Newcastle draw, okay, but that could be potentially the gap down to 1 point, all depending on how Fulham do.
But so, we'll move on to
Liverpool versus Fulham.
Yeah, and I think Fulham not with a favourable couple of games, Spurs and Liverpool.
Have you still got to play?
Yeah, we only played them on the opening game of the season.
Yeah.
So they have got a tough run in, but in all fairness, they've turned up against some of the big sides. They've been unlucky,
They went to Spurs and got a good.
Chelsea, I think they lost against, but they played well.
Yeah.
They were down to 10 men.
They went to Spurs and played.
They were 1-0 up against Man United. Liverpool
played well against Liverpool earlier in the season.
Did they get a point? I think they did. I think it was 1-1, wasn't it?
I believe they did actually.
Yeah. So I can't call them out of it, especially like you said. But I think it is one of them. It depends. We don't know what's going to happen tonight.
Yeah.
If Liverpool turn Chelsea over, I think that it's going to be an absolute embarrassment for Fulham.
Yeah.
I think that Liverpool will be back at it, and I think it'll be 3 or 4-0. But if Chelsea go there and get a result, then I think it will be a shaky one. I think Fulham will go there with belief. But then again, Fulham might get battered tonight, and they might go there with no confidence. So I think this is a hard one. Predict not knowing what's going on tonight. But I think I'm going to go for the favourites. I'm going to go 2-0 to Liverpool.
Yeah, I'll go 3-1. I was going to go 2-0, but we can't keep having the same predictions. So I'll go 3-1. Biggest game of the weekend probably. I think the title's wrapped up. I think City could probably put the final nail in the coffin if they haven't already, if they win this. But United probably playing for pride now. Bit of a statement.
I think they're probably playing for second in league. I think that's probably going to be their title. I think you got to remember they are still in with the FA Cup. I do think though, I want to say I do think it's going to be when City beat them. I think that the way I think it's 21 wins on a bounce. I know they've got to lose at some point, drop points at some point. But you know what? I do think that it's going to be a bit of an embarrassment.
Do you really?
Yeah, seriously. And do you know what? I haven't backed a scoreline like this in a while. And I think if there is any United fans listening, and they'll probably give me a bit of stick for this, I'm going to go 4-0 to City. I just think that watching United, I can't get on with it.
4-0?
Yeah, and I just think City, I'm seeing another performance like the one at Anfield.
I reckon a certain viewer called Rory Thompson is literally typing like that right now. But do you know what? I'm going to throw a curveball out there. I think United are going to go there and want to put City's run to an end. Like I say, it's going to be a bit of a statement for them. I think they're going to draw 1-1.
Yeah, well, it's nice to get a different opinion. I mean, they could go there, United could go and win, I could be left with egg on my face, but I just think...
And we got a bad record at the Etihad recently, in fairness.
Yeah, I just think that, personally,
I just hope it's better than that shambles that we watched earlier in the season.
I know, and I just think it would be a turnover, but who knows?
Maybe. Right, Spurs versus Palace. Palace holding Manchester United to a draw last night.
Who predicted? I didn't predict a draw. I did say that United would let down the boost.
And Tottenham, can we say back on track? Can we say? I don't know what to say.
Well,
tonight first. But.
Yeah, we did say it's only Burnley. I've been hit with the clown emojis for the 4-0.
I knew he'd say something.
Yeah, I think the thing is, Palace without Taha, we don't need to mention it again. We mention it all the time. Different side, but I don't think there's really much to say about it. Is there? I think we've touched upon Spurs already. We talk about Palace all the time. I'm just going to go straight in with the prediction. I'm going to go 2-0 Spurs.
I think it'll be a bit of a similar game to last week, really, but I think Palace are a little bit better than Burnley to keep the score down, if that makes sense. I'll go 3-0 Spurs.
No, yeah, I don't think that Spurs are...
Final two games that we're going to talk about are games that I'm personally really looking forward to. Carlo back at the Bridge.
Yeah.
Chelsea versus Everton.
And probably it's another one we don't know what's going to happen tonight. So it's another one of them ones to predict. I just think Everton, if they get a result, the top four could be back on track. I think they've got a game in hand, haven't they, on the top four anyway. And yeah, I just think that this could be... It's a perfect opportunity for them to make a statement. Yeah. And I think they've made a statement. It looks like the new stadium could be done 2024. I think it's one of them ones, new stadium. That's a statement in itself. Can they back it up with getting some European nights in there? I mean, it probably they're looking like maybe they'll chip in with Europa League, but I think if they get a win here, then and Chelsea lose tonight. Well, to be honest, they probably want a draw tonight, don't they? That's probably the best thing for them, and then they go to Stamford Bridge and beat Chelsea. But Chelsea seems to have steadied the ship a bit, and I think it will be a tough test for them. Like I said, they're definitely not going to be a walkover, Chelsea.
I think these two games probably define where Chelsea are going to end up at the end of the season, don't they?
And to be honest, what timing, back to back, both the Merseyside clubs. Do you know what? It's another one of them games, I just can't pick a winner. I'm going to go 2-2.
I'll go 2-1 Chelsea.
Yeah, I think if I was to pick a team, I'd pick Chelsea, but I don't know, I just think that...
You sit on that fence.
Yeah, I will.
And then two teams who have done quite well this season, in fairness, but completely contrasting styles. And a game that I'm looking forward to watching.
Yeah.
West Ham versus Leeds at the London Stadium. West Ham in the top four. Brilliant home record. I can see him winning again.
Oh, well, I mean, I look at that and I straight away think it's a big Hammers win for DG. I just think that West Ham this season, I think just the signings they make are just absolutely brilliant. And the thing is, Leeds on the road, Bamford's a different animal on the road. I don't know how, when there's no fans there, but he must just have a really motivational playlist on the bus. And I just think that it's going to be... I think it will be a good game, but I do think it's going to be another win for West Ham.
I'm going to go 1-0.
I'm going to go 2-1. I want to stick with. But no, I think it will, like I say, it's probably going to be a good end to the games this week. And hopefully some goals in it.
Yeah. So that's Premier League predictions. Oh, in fact, right. So that's Premier League predictions. Well, let's get some questions.
We have got... so we'll start with the soccer...
I'm here as always. Thank you, Norwich.
We'll start with the Soccer Saturday boost.
So we're going to dip into the EFL now. So the Soccer Saturday boost is Reading at home to Sheffield Wednesday, Brentford at home to Rotherham, Norwich at home to Luton. I think it is going to come in. I can see them all winning, but I'm sure you're going to...
I've said no.
You never say yes, though.
Yeah, because they have some insider knowledge. I'm sure of it.
Are you accusing them of match fixing?
I think that Brentford are going to be the ones to lay it down, personally. I just think that, especially after the game against Norwich last night, that the form's out the window. I think they've lost 4 of the last 6.
They've also won 2 of the last 3.
Yeah, but I think if you look at it in the long run...
Tony's back.
I think Stoke was a bit of a... But then again, Tony last night, he missed a bit of a
I say Norwich.
Yeah, but I think you've got to take your chances, and they did have chances to win the game. And I didn't think Norwich looked. I mean, Pokey. If they stick with him in the Premier League, I think the thing is with Norwich, they are a yo-yo club. I think they're going to go straight back down anyway, and I'm going to go as far. I just don't like Norwich. I don't know what it is. I just don't like them.
We don't particularly like agendas here on nothing but football. I think you might be being a bit harsh on Norwich here.
Yeah, well, that's all. We'll stick with that one. And we have got another question. Actually, we're going to talk. Should we talk about that now? We'll talk
thoughts
about
from Alex on Cov moving back to the Rico. Well, funny you should mention that because that was actually on the agenda for the show. And have we got any other questions just before we dip into that?
Yeah, we have actually. I'm not even going to say that one, but
nice one, Rat Man. We can always count on you for a nice pun.
He's Fabrizio Romano with these transfer links.
Right. So, question from Rory Thompson here. Thoughts from Alex on Cov being back at the Rico Arena. Yeah. So if you haven't seen the news today, it is pretty much confirmed that Coventry City will be playing their football back at the Rico Arena at the start of next season. I'm led to believe.
I think it's best for you at the start of next season.
I don't know whether it's a case of finishing the season. I don't know, but I think if the deal's all but done, it's been all over Sky Sports News. It's been all in the papers. I think it's just a case of crossing the T's and dotting the I's, and I think the EFL are rubber stamping it as we speak because you have to get permission from the EFL to move your stadium. And it's an emotional one. It's very emotive for me.
It's emotional for me.
Oh yeah, because
but another one ticked off the 92, which has
been
rudely taken away from me.
But yeah, it's an interesting question, and I'm sure you're going to get a smorgasbord of opinions from Coventry fans on this. And my take on it is, look, I don't like the Rico Arena. I can't say, oh my god, I love the Rico Arena. It's such an amazing stadium. It's
a modern stadium.
It's a modern stadium. It's a bit dull. It's too big for us. But
I think, do you know what it is? From my experience there,
it's an impressive arena.
I think it is a rugby. It sums up rugby, really. Yeah.
Look, I think Rory's asked this, and he knows my opinions on Wasp Zone in the stadium. That's been well documented in the past. But you know what? Any football team should be playing in the city that it represents.
Yeah.
And I think common sense has finally prevailed. It looks like we're going back. The fact the deal's been done now, I think, probably shows that Wasps need the income due to the impact that COVID's had. But yeah, we should be playing in the city that we represent, and it'll be nice. It'll be nice to be back because when you leave the stadium, when we left the stadium, there's people I was sat by who stopped going.
Yeah.
There's people who, they're just, I'm not watching them in Birmingham, that's it. Back after the lockdown was always going to be special anyway.
Yeah.
And for it to be back in Coventry, I think that'll probably make it even more.
Yeah.
2 years away. Ironically, St Andrews has served us really well because we've gone there and won the league, and I think we've only lost 6 games there.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, I think sums it up. It makes sense to play in the city you're from.
Yeah. But I just hope that this can mark a watershed moment between Coventry and Wasps. Look, I don't think Wasps should own the stadium, but they're going to stay. They're in for the long haul. I just hope we can work together now and bright future ahead and stay in the Championship and full charge from next season. So yeah, that's my take on it. I think you've heard enough about that now. I think the viewers have probably fell asleep there. But right, we're going to talk about this the midweek Championship action.
And I mean, there's a lot to talk about, really.
Yeah, I know some good games. Not the one that we watched.
No, the Norwich Brentford game. Disappointing for Brentford, especially given the big chance at 0-0. Buemo doing absolutely fantastically down the right side, and funnily enough, former Canary Sergio Canos missing it, and awful shot. And And then I think after that, that really summed it up. And then you're not going to get many chances at Norwich away.
Norwich as good as up now, and as much as...
Oh, yeah, 100%. And I think you can't say otherwise. 10 points clear in the form they're in. You know, what is it, 12 games left to play?
I think it's a matter of weeks, really, so it's probably mathematically confirmed.
Yeah, and fair play to them. I mean, they have got a good set of players, really. I think, like, whether or not they'll stay up is a different talk, but they are too good for the Championship, and that's it really to speak about it.
A late goal, unfortunately, in the other game that we watched this week, Coventry versus Middlesbrough. I've come in for a bit of stick, understandably, because we've lost to Middlesbrough, and from our Borough supporting friends up here. Terrible game of football.
Well, it says it. I left it 1-1. I couldn't take any more of it because it was, like I say, terrible. I mean, what was it? One shot on goal.
One shot on target, and there was 3 goals in the whole game. Yeah. Own goal for us, and then a completely scrappy goal for Middlesbrough, and then the header that they scored to equalise was the only shot on target. Not good for us because, well, we've got Derby tomorrow, so if we could, hopefully the news that's broke this week can give the players a bit of a lift, and we can get some results in towards the end of the season. But that's drops us back in trouble a little bit, combined with a
bit of a mad one at Hillsborough. I think that's the game you were going to go on about, because I think it is probably the biggest result of the midweek fixtures, other than the Norwich game, and I'm sure Wednesday fans will be baffled.
They'll be pulling their hair out of that.
I mean, have you seen the goal? The
strong.
Yeah, and I mean, it shouldn't be happening when they're down to 10 men.
No.
And I think it probably does sum up Wednesday. I mean, they've got a good manager.
From what I've heard, that Sheffield Wednesday should have had 3 or 4 last night.
Yeah, I have heard that it was an improvement under Darren Moore, and I think that is a good sign for them at least.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, they are looking like they're going to go down, and if they do go down, he is a good manager.
Yeah, well, we haven't spoke about Darren Moore. He left Doncaster in the week. Bit of a risk.
Oh, massive.
I mean, don't get me wrong, in terms of the stature of the club, and I do apologise if there's any Donny fans watching.
James especially.
Yeah, especially James, but Sheffield Wednesday, Doncaster Rovers.
Yeah.
In terms of club stature, there's only one choice, but in terms of league position, I think he's
risking it, yeah.
Yeah, he's risking it.
And I think it's well documented, the Wednesday owner, Chansiri, I mean, we know he's a bit of a nutter. I mean, the reports of Tony Pulis, I've heard that, I think football fans know what Pulis football's like. I've heard that it was typified Pulis at Wednesday, but the way he left, it was sort of reported it was a fallout with the owner. And the thing is, with Darren Moore, he is risking that really, because he's got to get on with it, and it's whether he can get the players in that he wants next season, because let's be honest, they probably are going to start looking to build upon League One.
I think that they've gone to this trouble to get Darren Moore in. They need, if they do go down, they need to just accept it, and they need to rebuild. You look at that squad, there are so many players who are picking up way too much money.
Yeah.
God knows how much it must be an eye-watering amount of money that he takes home. They paid a lot of money for him.
Well, I think Whelan was saying about Liam Shaw, he's off to Celtic. And
Pellier Pessi, he's on a lot of money, I'd imagine.
Yeah, but you think that one of the best young players is going off on a free?
Yeah, I think Wednesday just need a total reset of the club. Maybe going down could help them a little bit. It did last time they got relegated. They come back up and they had a bit of a push when they got back up, but it's just getting back up really, isn't it? Like, it's not set in stone, and especially with League One being as strong as it is now.
And I think it's one of them ones that they've got to get it right first time, or I mean, clubs have shown it's not easy to get out. I mean, Sunderland being the main example. Portsmouth and
Charlton.
Bolton went. I know they had their financial troubles, but sat in League Two now. So,
but would you go as far as saying Wickham and Sheffield Wednesday are as good as down?
Wickham, yes. Wednesday, I'm not going to say they're as good as down yet. I think it's easy to say that, but let's see how this weekend goes. Reading away, which I do think, on paper, a Reading win, but how many weeks ago was it they lost to Wickham?
Yeah.
It's not impossible, but let's see how this weekend goes.
Cardiff on the charge again. 4-0 win against Derby. Look, I think we spoke last week quite highly of the job Mick McCarthy's doing, and he's keeping that up.
Yeah. Cardiff, haven't we? I mean, there's not much we would say.
Swansea keeping in touch. Watford and Swansea keeping in touch with the top two with wins last night.
Yeah.
Watford should be beating Wickham at home, and Swansea with a last minute very, very contentious penalty against Stoke by all accounts. So that keeps them in touch, and keeps Brentford looking over their shoulder. And Bournemouth,
late winner for them as well.
Late goals galore, and Barnsley winning again. I know we spoke about Barnsley last week, but it's just crazy.
Do you know what? And I said this the other night. If Barnsley slip in at 6th and Brentford go down to 3rd, I'd fancy Barnsley to beat Brentford. I mean, they did earlier in the season. I believe they beat them last season as well.
Yeah.
And so I'd fancy Barnsley.
They beat them last day to stay up, didn't they?
Yeah, it was the last day, in fact. Yeah. So that's the thing. I believe that that Barnsley would take Brentford.
Right. Let's dip into League One. And there was.
In fact, before we move into League One, we have got a question.
We have got a question. Okay.
Yeah, it's from Harry, who says, "Who would you rank 1, 2, and 3 out of Lewandowski, Kane, and Haaland, or any other goal scoring number 9 you would put in your top 3?"
Ooh.
Out of them 3, I'm going Haaland 3rd. First off, I think obviously he's got the potential, but I say it's better than Lewandowski or Kane. It's a tough one, that.
Well, I'm going to put it out there. I'm putting Kane first.
Do you know what? I want to put Lewandowski top. I don't think there is much in it. I think that is a tough one, and I think there's maybe a little bit of bias. But I mean, I've seen I think Lewandowski is absolutely unbelievable, and he has the trophies to show for it.
Yeah. Look, the thing is with Harry Kane, his career now is dogged with he's got nothing to show for it. But do you know what? Fair play to him.
Yeah,
He obviously loves Tottenham that much. That winning one thing with Tottenham, which he could still do this season. They're still in the FA Cup. They're in the League Cup final. Even winning one thing with them would mean more to him than winning countless amounts with.
Yeah.
And it's a bit like Gerrard at Liverpool, isn't it?
Well, I think it's like Shearer.
Yeah.
In his time, I mean, the thing is, there's still the chance that he goes on and beats Shearer's record.
Yeah.
But personally, I do think Lewandowski over.
But like I say with Kane, it's like the one thing with Tottenham he could win would mean like you'd say when Gerrard could have gone to Chelsea.
Yeah.
He could have won Premier League.
He's
he could have won
got
the FA Cup pretty much every year. But would he swap that for that night in Istanbul with Liverpool?
No,
probably not, and that's because he's Liverpool through and through. Are there any other sorry. Lost my word in there.
Goal scoring number 9 that you'd put in your top 9.
Maxime Biamu.
Lacazette.
No.
I think Lacazette.
Harry's a Liverpool fan. Bobby.
No. It says goal scoring number 9. He's a defensive, whatever they call it. Question. No, not at the moment. But
right.
We'll carry
so
on.
dip into League One. Ipswich Town.
Lambert out.
Looks like the hashtag Lambert out campaign that they were all over has been a success, and they've got rid. And Paul Cook, former Wigan Portsmouth manager, has
the 4th Paul in 5.
The 4th Paul in 5. You've got Paul Jewell,
Paul Cook,
Paul
Hurst,
Lambert, and Paul Lambert and Paul Cook. Yeah, a bit of a crazy stat that. I think
a bit of a useless stat.
Yeah, Mick McCarthy looks a bit lost in that crowd of Pauls, doesn't he?
Just taking the mick.
That's terrible.
But you know what it is? Appalling.
Oh my word. This isn't even scripted.
I've been waiting for them all day.
But do you know what? I'm surprised. It's a bit of a coup for Ipswich because the job he did at Wigan, like I said, should have kept them up if it weren't for the. Bit of a coup dropping into League One.
Yeah, and like you say, Ipswich could save what. I think.
What we were writing Ipswich off as their season's over a few weeks ago.
And they've got Gillingham away, early kick-off on Saturday.
That would take them into the playoffs, which puts a bit of psychological pressure on Doncaster.
And it puts. Do you know what? It puts them above Portsmouth with the same games played, and you think that is absolutely. Considering the way that they started and
they've got the game in hand on Portsmouth.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, and the thing is, we're obviously presuming that they beat Gillingham. I mean, if John Akinde's starting,
who
knows? But the thing is, great coup for him, getting Paul Cook in, and to be honest, perfect time of the season to get him in. You know, they're not actually in awful form at the minute. Just looking, they're unbeaten at last.
Well, Lambert won his last couple of games, didn't he?
I think it was the right decision though, getting him out. You know, I think they've been stagnating for too long under Paul Lambert, and they do need a new Paul in to refresh him, and hopefully give him the boost hopefully not over Donny. We'll put that out there, but no, they definitely needed it.
But no, do you know? Yeah, like I think it's a massive coup for Ipswich. Do you know what? It's a bigger club than people give it credit for. Ipswich Town.
They've won the UEFA
Cup. They've spent years in the top flight. It's a fantastic club. Good away day as well. I'd like to see them get.
Haven't done it. So
Portland has a beautiful ground as well. One of my favourites actually. But yeah, do you know what? That second spot in League One is anybody's. Look, in my opinion, Peterborough will go up.
I think Peterborough are the only one. I think does anyone want the top spot? It seems when anyone gets there, they go in an awful run of form.
No, I think Peterborough are going to hold it out. Peterborough remind me of us last season. They score a lot of goals. They're they're coming into form at the right time of the season.
And one of your favourite players up top, Johnson Clark-Harris, and he is a fantastic job.
I love Johnson Clark-Harris. I liked him for Cov. We shouldn't have let him go, and I'm glad to see that he's gone on to prove the player that he is.
Do you know what? Just quickly on Peterborough, I think Mark Little got it spot on when he said their recruitment. They do remind me of Brentford, really, with the recruitment, because they do always have.
You can see him having a good go at the Championship as well if they.
Well, you think that if Johnson. Ivan Toney just come from Peterborough. He's shown he can do it in the Championship. Why can't Johnson Clark-Harris? Let's see how it goes for him.
I'll tell you what, potentially, them playoffs at the end of the season, there could be some huge clubs in that.
Well, you drop down to 10th and you've got Oxford there.
I mean,
I think
Lincoln have got 2 games in hand. That could put them back in second. You could have Hull, Sunderland, Portsmouth, Ipswich in the playoffs. That's crazy.
Yeah. And you think it's still Charlton that that they won the last time out. They've got a big game against Oxford this week.
Don't rule out Neil Critchley's Blackpool.
Well, I think I might after the 86th minute equaliser.
But no, they're on decent form. Blackpool. They've won 4 of the last 5. I don't think you can. You
can't rule anyone out.
You know what? They're a good playoff club. Blackpool.
Well, the year they beat Forest.
Yeah, they're the only team to have won promotion via the playoffs from all 3 divisions. I think.
I couldn't tell you, but
which is a fun stat that you didn't need.
Yeah.
Right, so we're going to dip into League 2 now, and when it comes to March, everybody speaks about Cheltenham, but not for the reason that we're going to talk about. Everybody speaks about Cheltenham Festival. We're going to speak about Cheltenham Town, top of League 2. Yeah,
and what a year they're having. You think they were minutes away from the game against City.
Yeah.
Really. Top of the league, and probably another league where Forest Green have gone on a bit of a dip, Cambridge gone on a bit of a dip, Newport are on one hell of a dip, and they've taken the chances that they've been grinding out results and now top of the league and looking good really. I'm just 2 points clear of Tranmere, but again Tranmere in good form.
Yeah,
I think it is going to be a fantastic end to the season,
Definitely. We said this last week, didn't we, to be fair, and
but
I feel like we're just repeating ourselves, but
talking on Bolton and Bradford, the big game this weekend, isn't it?
Just before we go, the thing is got 3, then you 28. Yeah. These are 2 clubs that to the season, quite frankly. I think they're about.
They weren't far off. Both teams, both won. And you know what? If Bradford beat them. Point behind, I think Bradford could give it either of them go up really, like you say, 2 the level they're go up. Well, at least one of them go up.
And then, we just mentioned Newport on a bit of a wobble. They've dropped out the top. The top six. They've been on dire form.
I think one of the discipline. I mean, that run where you're at the most relevant night. Like I say, on awful form. They have had. They've played Forest Green, Newport, Tranmere, 5 games, and teams that are all it's the same old, but always bottling it.
That's about it. Have we got any other?
The one last thing before. No, we ain't got any questions yet, but what I will say is...
last week we mentioned it.
Get a couple of people messaging. We're going to put it on Twitter and Facebook this week, because like I say, we are returning back to Friday 5. Put it out on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, whatever.
Between 10 and 12.
Stadiums that you pick for the Euros, if England are to get it. What 10 or 12 is we'll have a little workout consensus.
Yeah.
Is that the right?
I think populist consensus.
Yeah, I think. But no, we'll pick the best one. Well, the most chosen ones, and we'll have a look at that. But before we go, Wednesday.
Yeah.
And
if you're Sheffield, this is one for you, definitely.
Yeah. As the more went on, he come out his shell off. He spoke well. Seems a man that lived his dream. Looked like he would. So hopefully the first part of that coming on Sunday. For anyone is up. First part.
It's done really.
I hope that we can keep going up from there. So make sure. And well, probably not now. You sat anymore. Listen to as well. It was feedback.
Even if it's bad, we don't mind.
Bad.
Yeah.
You know, I the thing is, I sit through our interviews. There's people that aren't as interested in them up every week.
We're trying to introduce new things, and with Rob Jones, we tried to get all the viewers involved with asking questions. We got some good interaction on that. So yeah, look, anything you want us to do, or anything you think we could do to improve, let us be helpful, and we don't mind. We're adults, we can take it. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Time next week, 5 PM on Friday.
Yeah, look forward to it. And remember your stadiums, get them in on